Okay. Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're gonna be doing something different. This one will be called What If Deku had the red thread of fate. Gonna take me a while to get used to it, but that's gonna be the name. As you might have known, this is a belief in Japan and China, but it's mostly from China, but I like the name. So pretty much, his power is what is pretty much said on the lane. He can find soulmates. He and this very line strand is like kind of like a ball of yarn. It's for him when he sees it and turn on his quirk and sees it. It's wrapped around the person and it unravels every year. So depending on how many times they ravel around, it depends on how long it's going to be before they meet their soulmate. And I'll tell you what he can do along in the story. And there's some good ideas I had. I have not found the ship yet. I'm still thinking about it. And so, what else? Yeah, I guess that'll be it. So let's get into it. This is at the time where Inko and Zuko is coming out of the hospital. It was all good. Zuko's still good. Is a bit crybaby, and Zuko started crying around. At this point, they don't really have a car. They're not really don't have that much money. And Sashi is still at home working. He'd be like he'd be working at home most of the time. And so Inko is pretty much holding her baby, walking down the street, and Zuko is like started crying. And then she pretty much pat his head, stomach. Well, try make him quieter, but he doesn't stop. And then she walked by some kind of store, and when she walked past that, well, first steps right in front of it, and Zuko pretty much stopped. She thought she stopped it herself and just kept walking. Right when she went in front of the next door, he started crying, and she was kind of confused, and she pretty much stand there just seeing him just not stopping. And then she took a step closer to that store again, and Zuko stopped crying, and she kind of looks up and look at the store. And this store is pretty much a designer store, and it's pretty not really well known, but it will be in the future. And so she pretty much stopped there and waited until he actually fell asleep, and then started walking off. And Zuko again started crying, and she came getting a little tired, so she's checked opened the store, the door, and opened the door. The store opened the door, and she pretty much is looking around with her baby, and she's kind of wondering, and she sees help wanted. I'm not sure how it's done over there, but I'm doing it in America, how it's done over here. And so she pretty much, at this time, she pretty much had her job, but wasn't paying as well. So she talked with the manager and see how it goes with all this holding Zuko. So after it, they would give her a call and they said yes or not. And so annoying. And she walks off. As she's going home to Sashi, Zuko started crying again. He doesn't. Inko and Sashi is trying to make him calm down, and Sashi started holding him. And Sashi made him fall asleep and put him back into his room. So let's go into the future for what time? When then? Oh, it's 1 year when they start speaking. A year and a half when they start stepping on the floor. At 3, I'll give it. At the age of 3, he knows sense. He knows what to do. Mostly, he's gonna be smart, but not too smart, of course. And Zuko asks his dad, what he does to do what he does. Zuko, Dad, Dad, what do you do for work? I can't do incomplete sentences, but I can do like that. So sorry. And Sashi pretty much tell him to do that, what he does, and Zuko pretty much reach out his hand, and his eyes turn red. Well, it looks like red, but it start glowing red. And Sashi is kind of freaked out that it looked like he's awakened his quirk. And Zuko pretty much grabs something in midair, and he kind of pull. And Sashi feels something, and he hears to quit his job. And Sashi is kind of asking Zuko what he's doing, and Zuko pretty much told him, "Look, I found a red string." And Sashi can see a red string in his hand. Look like it's getting pulled from somewhere, but it's not connected to anything. So Zuko pretty much let go, and it's gone when Sashi asked to open it. And Zuko, with his eyes still red, they're at the very lightest red. It's almost pink at this point, because it's his first time waking it on purpose. Well, technically. And he grabbed his dad's hand, and Sashi sees. He's kind of shocked at this, and he's looking around and wondering what's going on. He sees so many lines, strands going through their house everywhere, over at the ceiling, to the floor, to the right, to the left, and it's almost everywhere. It's hard to even move. And Sashi try and push on the string, and they don't push. Zuko, when he pushed on the strands, they move and just form around Zuko. And Sashi asked, "Zuko, do you see this all the time?" And Deku said, "Yeah, they're pretty, aren't they?" I'm really shocked. Sorry, I just don't remember what kids say anymore. Even though I've seen one kid. But anyway, Sashi knows that Deku has awakened his quirk and wants to take him to the doctor, but not today. He was still confused with all this, and Zuko pointed at one string and start pulling on it, and it's around. And Sashi looks at himself, and he sees a bunch of loops around himself. And he sees that Zuko is pulling on one, and when Zuko pulled on it, it told Sashi to quit his job, and kept saying that. And so Zuko and Sashi pretty much thinks, maybe I should quit it. Hasn't been paying me well, so maybe hopefully I'll find another one. And Zuko pulled on another strand, and it said, I don't remember what. No, it doesn't say what job he does for a living. So this one will be a manager job. Of a really famous corporate. And Zuko pulled on it even more, and Sashi can see himself how he had to get the job perfectly. Get in there, become a the front desk worker, and work himself up from there. And sooner or later, he'll be a manager in that corporate. So at this point, Zuko is making him see in the future his actual destiny to see what's going to happen. And Zuko pretty much blinked his eyes and he turned off his quirk. And Sashi kind of looks at him and decides to do it. If his son is right, then it might help with money problems. Right now, they're not living at the house at this point, the one in Cannon. They're living in an apartment, way smaller, one room, and all three of them sleep in there. And their kitchen is like right next to it. So that's the living arrangements. So the next day passed. Sashi pretty much quit his job right the next day and get Izuku out of the daycare and took him to the quirk doctor. The quirk doctor is kind of confused why Sashi brought his child at age of 3, but he chucks it up and thinking that this kid is gonna be somewhat special because this kid and doctors have a little bit of attitude. And Zuko pretty much is getting tested on what his quirk is gonna be. And the doctor is kind of confused as seeing him change his eyes and pretty much chalk it up, saying that's his quirk. Okay, red eyes. He's kind of pissed at this point. He doesn't really want to do his work, and Zuko pretty much is playing on one of his strings, and it said that they divorced her. At this point, the doctor is kind of confused, and then as a kid, asks Zuko what is he doing, and Zuko pretty much is telling him, I see lines, I see strength, or those, see, it's, and the doctor see exactly what. So it happens again for the doctor, and yeah, so they see he's going through the same thing what Sashi went through. Dang it. And dang, that's a long time. So the doctor pretty much tells Sashi that I believe his quirk is called the soulmate, or the red threads of fate, and he just chalk it up and say it's destiny, the lines of destiny. And so Sashi is pretty much leaving and with Zuko, and Zuko's leaving with Sashi. Sorry, had to get it right. And the doctor pretty much wait another year and then will divorce her. It's not going to be a very dark one, but not sure yet. Oh, not 20 yet. Okay, I'll keep going. So 2 years has passed. Iko and Sashi pretty much is teaching Zuko what the red lion face thing is like, and getting, wow, blind much, sorry, and pretty much teaching him what the red lion face is like, believe it's like, and Zuko is understanding more since he's 5. Bakugo at this point is not very. He's kind of mad that Zuko has wakened his quirk so fast, but he doesn't understand what it is. And Zuko pretty much grabs Bakugo's hand, and Bakugo sees all the line threads everywhere, and he's kind of scared at this point, looking like he got trapped in something, and he tried to run away, but right when he let go of Deku's hand, it disappeared and see nothing. And he saw a line right in front of his face, but he was so scared he closed his eyes. And at the point he let go and he went right through it. And Bakugo is actually crying at this point, and all the other kids are crying. And this all happened at the part where Bakugo was bullying another kid. And so Zuko pretty much is kind of popular at that point, because he has awakened his quirk first, and his just seems so weird but so cool at the same time. They don't know if it's a emitter or a transformation or a mutation. So, yeah, and probably it's a mixture of two, because his eyes change and it shows what he's gonna do. But it's not so flashy until someone holds his hand. So I'll stop it here. The next part will be about his high school life and whatever is left. Sorry about that, but I'm taking food to my family, and yeah, bye.